Good morning, friends. I hope you're having a great day so far. I thought I would try something a little bit different. I'm going to read part of your story to you now, and then I'm going to show you how to do our craft. And then after we finish our craft, we will do our story, the remainder of our story together. You ready? So here we go. Let's see if I can back this out some. Alright, so the title of our story today is called A Rebellious Uprising. Tell that to your shoulder partner, a rebellious uprising. Go. Very nice. Things are pretty glum around the Israelites' camp. The spies had given a bad report, and the people believed them instead of Joshua and Caleb. The people refused to enter the promised land. Instead, they wanted to return to Egypt. God had passed great judgment on the rebellious, disobedient adults. They would not be allowed to enter the promised land. They would wander around the wilderness over the next 40 years until everyone aged 20 and older had died. The Israelites should have fallen on their faces like Moses and Aaron had done. They should have confessed their rebellious attitude and sought God's forgiveness. Over the days and weeks following God's judgment, the people started grumbling. They were angry and upset. But instead of being angry and upset at their sin, they were angry with Moses and his leadership. Stop and talk to your friends for just a second. Why were the Israelites grumbling, and why were they not allowed in the promised land? Go. Okay, so you've had time to talk about it. We know the Israelites were grumbling because they couldn't go into the promised land, but they couldn't go into the promised land because they were more afraid of the giants they saw than they were ready to trust God that He was going to protect them. So it was their own fault that they couldn't go in. So 3 men decided to lead rebellion in the camp. The first one was Abiram. Can you say it? Abiram? Good. Now, the second one was Korah. Say Korah. The last one, Dathan. Say Dathan. I think that's how you say it. We got close. So these men were going to lead a rebellion. They must have been important men because they convinced 250 other men to go in with them and confront Moses. These 3 men said that Moses and Aaron have too much authority. We are all God's people, and why should they be greater than us? We want as much power and authority as you do. That would be like us wanting more power than our president. The president has the most power in our country, so obviously we can't all have the same power. But all of these men wanted to be just as powerful and be in charge. You think that's what God wanted? I don't think so either. This was very dangerous. God had chosen Moses and Aaron. God had given Moses the task of leading his people. God had chosen Aaron and his sons to be the priest for the people. When Korah, Dathan, and Abiram said they thought Moses and Aaron had too much power and too much authority, they were saying that God didn't know what He was doing. They were filled with pride and wanted to grab some of that power for themselves. How do you think this made God feel? Turn to your shoulder partner. Ready, set, go. I'm sure God was angry and upset with them, trying to overpower Him and to make their own decisions. God had chosen the Levites to do the Lord's work in the tabernacle. God had chosen Aaron and his sons to be the priest. This was God's plan. The 3 rebellious men wanted the authority of the priesthood. They wanted to take it away from Aaron after God had given it to him. Moses understood how serious this sin was. He fell on his face before God. Moses said that God should decide who should lead his people. So Moses suggested a simple test, and this is what test we're going to do today. Korah and his men were to bring incense as an offering in their censers to the tabernacle. So before we go any further, a censer is a little object like this, and people would use to carry incense and different things into the tabernacle. Incense were smelly things, like we talked about potpourri, different things that had different smells, and they would burn it, and this smoke would come out of the censer. So a lot of priests and things like that would use it in the Bible days for symbolic reasons. So this test that Moses is telling them to do, they were supposed to put the incense in their censer and use it like a lantern. The container is kind of like a candle or a fire that can be carried around. The priests often burned scents or spices called incense as an offering to God. Moses said that Aaron would bring his incense and offering too. Whoever's God accepted would be the priest. Moses called Dathan and Abiram. Remember, where's our men? Here's Dathan. Moses called Dathan and Abiram to come to the meeting also, because he had already spoken to Korah. These men were so rebellious against Moses and God that they viewed the land of Egypt as the land flowing with milk and honey. They accused Moses of trying to kill them by not letting them go into the promised land. These men didn't recognize that their own disobedience kept them out of the promised land. They blamed it on Moses. They said Moses was acting like he was prince over the people. And they were so rebellious that they refused to come to talk with Moses and bring their incense and censer. So, we're going to see what happens. We're going to all make our own censer during craft, and we are going to bring it to the judgment and see who gets chosen. So, here's your paper. Before you start, it's very important to color your paper. So you might draw, make sure you write your name on it. I'm going to write Miss K. And I'm going to draw some different designs. I'm going to go fast just because we're doing our little video. But you're going to color all over your paper and make it nice and pretty. Then you're going to fold it hot dog style. Make sure it's nice and neat. I'm going to take my time so that it's even, because when I'm done, it's going to have to stand on its own. Okay? I'm going to take my scissors, not too skinny. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut just like that. Did I go all the way through? No, I stop. I don't cut all the way through. Stop. That one was a little too far. That's too close to the edge. I'll do better this time. There, that's better. Perfect. Then if you want to like punch little holes down the side or punch a holes here, do something pretty, you can. But then what you're going to do is the side you didn't cut is going to be the top and the bottom. You're going to turn it like this, and you're going to let Mr. Steve help you, or your shoulder partner, and you're going to tape. I'm just going to tape right on the edges so it stays. And I'm even going to fold a piece over the top. And that is your censer. And then if you want, when you're done, we're going to punch holes here, and you can tie yarn around so you can carry it around like the priest did. Alright, that's the end of our video. We're going to all go make our censers now. And we're going to rotate. Some people will be with Miss Caitlin reading the verses in the Bible that we just talked about. Some of us will be with Mr. Steve doing our censers. We'll just do 2 groups today. Okay? Great job listening, friends. I'm excited to finish the lesson with you. After we do our craft, we'll bring our censers before the class and see who gets chosen.